and welcome to, I guess it's Tuesday. Uh, and I hope that those that were able to enjoy the yesterday's eclipse had lots of fun. So it was quite an interesting thing to see. We're going to start right off the bat. So greetings, everybody. Uh, Welcome to our webinar focused on another wonderful area of England. And today we're traveling to parts of England that aren't that far from London. We'll head to Cambridge and Oxford. Well known. I'm sure all of you know that it's two of the best. You'll find two of the best universities in the world. They were founded in 1209 and 1096, approximately, just a few years ago. But there's been settlements that have existed in the area since prehistoric times. So today we're going to take you through some of the beautiful towns of the area. And some of you may already know this, but Cambridge had a fairly large Jewish community there in the Middle Ages. And it's not just a single university. The towns are made up of multiple colleges. So that's one of the notable things about both Cambridge and Oxford. Lots of notable alumni from all over the world have attended Oxford. Names that you all know: Thatcher, Bill Clinton, Indira Gandhi, current justices of the Supreme Court were Oxford educated. And without the World Wide Web, where would we be without Tim Berners-Lee? And of course, none of you should forget Hugh Grant, Dudley Moore, and of course, Michael Palin of Monty Python fame, Oscar Wilde, J.R. Tolkien, author of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, one of my all-time favorites. The list just goes on and on and on. We're also going to head to the birthplace of arguably the greatest playwright of all time, William Shakespeare. We'll visit Stratford-upon-Avon. And this year happens to be his 400th birthday. And in fact, it's happening in the month of April. And for those who don't know who we are, we're a tour operator located on the East Coast of New Jersey, just outside of New York City. My business partner, Johnny Miradoli, hello, Johnny, and I have been building holidays to Europe for a combined total of almost 70 years. We're 100% focused on the American travel advisors, supporting them in creating wonderful holidays throughout Europe. So give us a call if you need help in England, Ireland, Scotland, France, Italy, all over Europe. Johnny and Flo, let me start. Flo, let me introduce you to Flo. She represents England's historic cities, and many of you probably recognize Flo from our past webinars. Hi, Flo.
Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. So before we start, can you tell us a bit about England's historic cities?
Yeah, sure. England's Historic Cities is a partnership of destinations that's brought together by common product and interests. And its purpose is to exchange knowledge and benchmark performance and raise the profile of England's heritage product and facilitate joint promotional activity, all with the intention of maximising the potential of the city's visitor economies. You saw the map with some of the cities on there. So just to go through them, they're Bath, Cambridge, Canterbury, Carlisle, Chester, Durham, Greenwich, Lancaster, Lincoln, Oxford, Salisbury, Stratford-upon-Avon, and York. And just so you know, England's heritage cities use the englandoriginals.com website platform and brand. And this includes details of each city. There's a selection of attractions and experiences, tour guiding companies and accommodation providers for each city, and a wealth of history and heritage product, as in addition to some more unusual and exciting things to do, some of which you'll hear from today. There's also an England's Originals app designed with augmented reality, which can be used by visitors before or during or after their city visits. And for the trade, we've developed 5 pre-planned suggested multi-city itineraries, which are targeted at North American clients and easy to navigate by train for a short city break. These can be adapted and added to a wider England itinerary as required. And we're going to be covering 2 of these today. You can go on to the next slide.
So I want to introduce you to some of the people that all of the people actually we're going to meet today. So hi, Maria. Maria is the CEO of Cambridge, as you can see. Flo, we all know Flo. So hi, Flo.
Hi.
Vicky Zamudio. Hi, Vicky. You and I have been talking about doing this for a long time. I'm really thrilled to have you join us today. Louisa Stott. Greetings. How life in Stratford-upon-Avon. Leslie Wright. Hi, Leslie. We'll hear from Leslie later on. And last but not least is Laura Charrington. Hey, Laura, how are you? She represents a wonderful hotel, and we'll visit that hotel later in the presentation. So what's our next slide?
This was just a slide, Tom, that I added because we wanted to try and illustrate how easy it is to travel between these cities. And this is one of the 5 pre-planned suggested multi-city itineraries that we can work with the trade on. This one looks at visiting London, the City of London, which we know many people will fly into, Greenwich, Canterbury and Cambridge. And all these cities are really easily accessible by train and public transport. You've got the times there, but it's 1 hour and 45 minutes from Greenwich to Canterbury, 2 hours from Canterbury to Cambridge as well. So it's all very accessible for a visit.
Yeah, and that's what's great about the cities that we're going to focus on. Probably nothing further than 60 miles or so from center London. So it's very, very, very accessible. Next slide. So we're gonna show you a short video that was put together. Gives you a flavor of the. Thanks for putting that together, Flo. Wonderful. So now we're going to move into talk a bit about Cambridge.
Okay, so if I sort of give you a brief outline of Cambridge. Cambridge is packed with stunning architecture and nature. It's a beautiful university town, and as Tom mentioned, it's actually got 31 different colleges and halls across the city. Plus it has Anglia Ruskin as well, but it is a city that is renowned for its impact on history. It's got a tightly packed city centre, and it's perfect for exploring the ancient colleges, the busy market. The cobbled streets are full of independent traders, wine merchants, restaurants, cafes, art galleries, and of course, go down to the picturesque backs which take you alongside the River Cam. Cambridge is a city that celebrates both its history and also its cutting-edge scientific research. Its famous alumni include Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, and Professor Stephen Hawking. And you can see those colleges, some of them are there, that's just a couple there where those great minds studied. And you can be inspired by those surroundings, which have changed the course of history, not just British history, but international history as well. But you can actually be part of it as well. You can go and enjoy a pint at the Eagle Pub, where James Watson and Francis Crick, actually, it was the birthplace of DNA. So you can see where they actually had a little work there and enjoy a pint as well. And it was also a haven for World War II airmen. So you can imagine being a master of the air. Apple's got a film out at the moment. When actually taking a trip to Duxford as well, and that will help bring the spirit of the air to life for you. But a short walk from the Eagle Pub, you saw there was the stunning King's College sitting behind me as well. And it's inside is King's College Chapel. And I will say to you, it is the most astounding piece of Gothic architecture. It took over a century to build. And I would say to you, just sit in a pew, sit there, take in the atmosphere, take in the amazing architecture of this building, because no words can really convey the splendid beauty of this chapel. It is astounding. Just opposite from King's Chapel is the Corpus Clock. There you can see on the screen. It's actually, it's called a time eater, and it devours every minute of the day, one step at a time. And it's also one of the most unique clocks in the world. So again, you can just go have a peep at it. So we're a city with so much to offer, but also don't forget to move away from the universities along the river and take a stroll along the river. Whether it's a stroll or a punt, it's an amazing way to actually discover the city and to look up as well and to look around the city. So you can also enjoy one of the exhibitions at the Fitzwilliam Museum just down as well. It's a very tight city. Or if you want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city, the Botanic Garden is absolutely amazing, unique. It's an oasis of tranquility and a horticulturist dream that's featuring some very rare specimens that have been collected over the years. So we're looking at over 800 years of history. You can tread in the footsteps of many famous people, mentioned a few, but a few others to give you an idea: Williams Wordsworth, Virginia Woolf, Stephen Fry, and King Charles. They all enjoy Cambridge, and we will be delighted to welcome you to experience our unique city.
I definitely feel smarter just looking at these slides.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if it's worked on me though. It does work on others.
It is. It's very inspiring. I mean, it's absolutely inspiring. Lots of brilliance coming out of there in every possible way, right?
Yeah, and as a city, it's not just about the history, it's about the here and now. So you can, it's got some great contemporary art galleries, Kettle's Yard, renowned for its sort of exhibitions as well. So it's a great way of experience that sort of contemporary and history together. We call it Chanel with a contemporary scarf. It sort of adds the je ne sais quoi.
And it's great in that it's really a town that you need more than a day.
Oh yeah.
It's oftentimes just done as a day trip from London, but it doesn't do the city justice.
No, it doesn't. And if I was saying to anybody, I would say, look at staying 2 or 3 days to really get a feel for the city. But it's not just the city, it's sort of the surrounding area as well. So you get a real feel for where Cambridge sits within British history as well. And I think that's really important. When I mentioned Duxford, we've got a lot here that links us with America. We have an American War Memorial just outside Cambridge city centre at Madingley. And I think there's a great association with America as well through the city. But yeah, to me, it's a city where you can experience food, drink, theatre, culture. You can walk along and the railings are just covered with posters. So you can just dip in to a concert that day. So you can just go and pick a concert at lunchtime and just go. And that's the great thing about Cambridge. There's always something happening. So regardless of the time of year, there will be an event, there will be a concert, there will be something happening. And the food and drink in Cambridge is amazing. And we've got some real great quirky things. I mean, we've got an ice cream shop where it features King's College lavender ice cream. Actually, it was nice. It was good. But then they brought out Marmite. Not so good. So each week, there's a different flavour ice cream that you can run the gauntlet with. So, but yeah, some are slightly more testing than others, but definitely worth it. So yeah, and some great restaurants and some, the pubs that overlook the river. You can walk further out of the town centre, and the river just carries on. And there's some great pubs that you can just sit there with the old mill wheels inside the pubs. And Grantchester as well. There's been filming there of historical sort of crime detective sort of series. So there are great areas just to enjoy in Cambridge as well. And I would definitely say 2 or 3 nights minimum stay to really appreciate the city, and not just to be hammering around. But I would also say, you will hear about the punts, but actually the punts aren't just for daytime, they're for nighttime as well. So if you want to explore the city at night and see it in a different light, the punts are a great way of doing it. Plus you have back trails and things like that. So anything quirky, we'll find something for you in Cambridge as well.
Thanks, Maria. So what's our next slide? So those are some hotels. And these slides, this presentation is going to be available to everybody. We'll have it posted in the next 48 hours. So feel free.
Tom, this was just us highlighting some of the accommodation in both Greenwich and Cambridge, which are featured in the Time Travelers video. So please do check with Tom. There are all sorts of accommodation available in these areas, in these cities, from 3-star to 4-star and higher quality 5-star hotels. So if you're interested in, like Maria said, in spending a few days in each city, then do investigate the accommodation options and liaise with Tom, because he's very well placed to advise you on accommodation in the area.
All right, so what's our next slide, Francesco? We're going to introduce you to a bit of a wonderful experience called punting. If none of you have done it before, it's something that needs to be done. We're going to launch a video, a couple of them actually. So let's do an intro, and then we're going to do, there'll be a lovely interview that was done on one of the boats.
We have a lot of people who are nervous to give it a try. They think that they're going to fall in, they think that they're going to crash, and both those things do happen. Most people within 10 minutes realise it's not as scary as they first thought. It's a lot of fun and a great workout too. My name's Niall Folbig and I'm the station manager at Scudamores on Mill Lane in Cambridge. The punt itself is the boat. The pole is called a quant, and it's a flat-bottomed boat that was then used to navigate around the fens in around Cambridge and Ely. The pole, or the quant, is then used to push from the riverbed and propel the boat forward. So we can trace punting back in Cambridge as far back as around 2,000 years or so, when people used the flat-bottomed boats to bring goods in and out of the city. Fast forward to about 1910, and that's when commercial punt hire started as a way to get out and enjoy the city. Down the college backs, some incredible architecture, some really famous bridges. We have King's College Chapel, we have the Mathematical Bridge, Clare College Gardens, Trinity Hall, Trinity College, Magdalen College, Bodley's Court, endless things to see on the backs. Punting is so special to Cambridge because it's a pastime that's enjoyed by the students, the locals and tourists alike. It's a great way to spend a nice relaxing afternoon floating down the river with a drink in your hand and looking at the beautiful university as you go by.
Great, thank you. And there's also a follow-up to that, which is just a great interview.
Good morning, guys. My name is Alex. I'm a river tour guide here in Cambridge. And I work for a company called Scudamores. Scudamores was founded in 1910. It was one of the first punting companies in Cambridge. And since then, we've done tours up and down the river since 1975. And I'm a river tour guide and a tour guide trainer.
Amazing. And just out of interest, how far is Scudamores from central London?
So from central London, it should take roughly about 90 minutes to reach us. They've got very good transport links, so it shouldn't take too much out of your day for part of the travelling.
Nice. And is it pretty easy to get there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of public transport links. You could catch a coach. You can drive if you rent a car. Lots of car rental places at the airports. But the easiest way is by train. So the train takes roughly 50 minutes from London on the Northern Line. And essentially, you'll come into Cambridge, and from there, you can find lots of public transport links to our offices at Scudamores.
Nice. And about how long does it take the whole experience?
So I would give yourself about an hour for the experience. The tour itself is 45 minutes. If you allow 5 minutes either side for climbing on and off the boat, making sure you've remembered everything, alongside just checking in with the cashiers and things like that, and then giving you information, I'd say roughly about an hour is perfect.
Awesome. And what kind of things are people going to see on the experience and during their visit in Cambridge?
So on the tour itself, you'll see 8 different colleges of Cambridge University that are based along the river. There's 31 in total, but 8 on the river are what we will see, alongside 9 bridges, okay?
Awesome. And are there some other things to do as well in Cambridge?
Yeah, there's plenty. There's lots of activities, museums as well, and lots of the libraries from some of the colleges are free and open to the public. They contain fantastic historical materials, which means that the general public, after they've had a tour, can go and read up more about what they've seen on their excursion.
Amazing. And is it pretty easy to organize private, exclusive kind of VIP experiences at
Absolutely.
Scudamores?
With Scudamores, we've got a long history of being able to arrange that. We have a bookings department that are very capable of dealing with any extra requests, nice and discreetly without any sort of fuss or hassle.
Nice. And are there likely to be queues when people arrive?
It really depends on the day. If it's good weather like today, there might be a small queue when you're looking to either check in or pay for your excursion. But really, there isn't too much queuing. You might have a little wait whilst you get onto the boat, but they're at set times, and they will ask you just to come back 5 minutes before it leaves.
Nice. And after the experience, do you have somewhere to grab lunch or tea?
Yeah, Scudamores itself doesn't have its own cafe on site, but we're in a public area that has plenty of refreshment ideas, lots of restaurants. There's a very well-known cafe called Fitzbilly's just across the road from our offices at Bridge Street. And at the other end, at Silver Street, we've got 2 very well-known local pubs, the Anchor and the Mill.
Awesome. And when are you guys open?
So we're open most mornings from 9 a.m. and we will close when the sun goes down.
Beautiful. And are there likely to be any kind of like annual events that are, a must do while you're in Cambridge if you're there at that time of year?
Yeah, one I would particularly recommend to do with the punting and the boats is actually the fireworks associated with the May Ball. In the calendar for the university, this is one of their biggest events. It's a fantastic spectacle to see the river lined up with boats, all watching the fireworks.
Amazing. And last question, are there any links between Cambridge punting and the USA?
There are plenty of links between Cambridge and the USA. We've got some fantastic alumni from the colleges, such as Alexander Crummell, one of our first recorded black alumni. He went back over to the States and founded the first school for black children, very important work. We also have a man called Billy Fisk, who was a 2-time Olympic bobsled champion. He's mentioned in the film Cool Runnings, but studied just up the river further at Trinity Hall. But he actually did a very noble act. He signed himself up for World War II to partake as a fighter pilot. But as America weren't involved in the war at that time, he actually lied and said he was Canadian just to get ahead of the game.
Amazing. And yeah, thanks so much, Alex. Are there any last things you kind of want to say to sum up?
Oh, we can't wait to see you guys. Hope you come down and have some fantastic weather and a lovely time with us. We'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Thank you. So that's definitely something that everyone should experience. you know, gondolas are one thing, punting is another.
Just moving on now from Cambridge, we're going to focus on the thinkers and writers itinerary that we put together, focusing on Stratford-upon-Avon, Worcester and Oxford. So this slide, it again details the easily accessible, the cities, how easily accessible they are from each other, and actually not far from London either. So if you, Francesco, want to play the video, you can have a bit of a summary of what this is all about.
So what is our next slide? So now we're going to go to Oxford, and Leslie, you're going to tell us all about what we're going to see there.
Okay, I am. Hello, everybody. Nice to be talking to you all. And yeah, I hope that video gave you a little bit of a taster of what you can see in our beautiful city, and also just outside of it as well. I think just that the first thing to say is how easily accessible Oxford is. If you've got people flying into London, if you're coming from London, as we started off to say there, it's really less than an hour from London on the train. I think we are fortunate now. We have 2 train lines into the city, one with going from Paddington with GWR, and that's now a 50-minute train journey. So super speedy. There's another train line from London Marylebone that actually comes via Bicester Village, if any of you have heard of that, into the city. Slightly longer train journey, but that goes to Marylebone, which is a very lovely little station in London. And don't forget the buses as well too. We've got buses running regularly from Heathrow and Gatwick into Oxford, and also from Victoria in London. They can take, I don't know, about an hour and a half, 2 hours as well. But then you get into our city, and I think globally known, similarly to Cambridge as well, because of its university. And I think Tom referenced earlier that the university isn't, it's not just one building, it is spread out across our city. It's made up of 39 colleges in Oxford. Some of them you may have seen in films, TV programs, the likes of Christ Church College, which we just saw in that video then, famed for appearing in Harry Potter films with its beautiful dining hall, to some of the smaller colleges like St John's on one of the broad streets in Oxford. So yeah, globally known because of that, with a history stretching back well over 1,000 years, and it is known as the city of dreaming spires, due to all of the spires across Oxford, with many of them within the Oxford colleges. And in some parts, I think some people often reference it looking a bit like a fairy tale city. It has this sort of enchanting feel with all of its heritage buildings in quite a compact area. So if you've got clients coming into the city, remember Oxford is actually a really very small city. Easy amount of time is needed to explore it, but I wouldn't say because there's an easy amount of time to explore it that should just be done on the day trip. Similar to what we were saying earlier about Cambridge, really do immerse yourself in Oxford. Spend time, 1 or 2 nights, to really take in the full ambience of the city and all of the things it offers beyond these heritage buildings. But just kind of sticking with those a moment, you can get a real insight into the university and its colleges on a walking tour. We'll come on to that in a moment, but also from city sightseeing. Oxford have wonderful open top bus tours which take you around the city. For those that really don't maybe have the ability to walk as far, gives you a great insight into the city. For those that do walk, going up into one of the more central, higher points in the city, the Carfax Tower, will give you amazing views over those dreaming spires, and also over Oxford's old and colourful high street as well. And on that high street and off there, you've got some wonderful independent shops to go to. We've got an amazing covered market, which now opens every day of the week and into the evenings. And you've got little food eatery places there. You've got places that are brewing their own beer, so you can go and really have a very social and independent time in that area. So make time to explore some of those independent spots. Also on the more modern side of the city, we've got an amazing shopping centre called Westgate Oxford, and from the rooftop there's an array of bars and restaurants which will give you another view over those dreaming spires, so do take those in. And also within the city, lots of green spaces to explore. I referenced Christ Church College earlier. That has a beautiful meadow in its grounds, with cows grazing there, right up to the banks of the River Thames, which flows through the city. And you can get out onto the River Thames on a couple of different cruises. There's some that accommodate a larger number of people, sold as steamers, but also some more boutique cruising with Oxford River Cruises. So they can take cocktail cruises on the River Thames, afternoon tea on there as well. And of course, similarly to Cambridge, we do have lots of punts to get out onto. So do go punting. I think also just worth saying the array of museums in the city. We've got the Ashmolean Museum, which has got some incredible artifacts, some amazing art. We've got a modern art gallery. We've got a natural history museum. So there's lots of cultural opportunities by day, similarly by night, some great theatre. We're a city of music, be it classical, be it indie, be it folk. There's all of these different music types that you can go and enjoy. Just outside of the city, just to close, and with very easy access, again, by train, by bus, you can get out to the likes of Blenheim Palace, which we just saw on the video, go and explore that UNESCO heritage site. It's beautiful grounds which were created by Capability Brown and the Palace. And also sites such as Bicester Village. If you really are into your shopping, then that is the spot to go to. And just to close, don't forget, for any of those that like a tipple, we've got a wonderful array of distilleries, quite a few gin distilleries across the county as well, and some incredible breweries as well, including wonderful one up in North Oxfordshire at Hook Norton Brewery, with some beautiful grounds in a Victorian brewery with its very own Shire horses. So I'll leave it there today. It's the tip of the iceberg I've covered there, but do make time to enjoy Oxford. It's a city that delivers for families, it delivers for couples, delivers for a group of friends. So come and explore.
Yeah, you're making me thirsty. Thanks, Leslie. Just some slides of the town. You can move forward, Francesco, through these slides. So we're going to do a walking tour of Oxford now, just to show you one of the things that can be done. Leslie, do you want to tell us a little bit about this before we start?
Yep. So the video here just gives you an insight into just gives you a feel of some of the places. There's actually, it's quite a light touch video, so I don't know if we've got the latest one on there, but it will take you around. Our tours, which we may come on to in a few minutes, will really showcase some of the highlight sites in the city. One of the key ones being in the photo you can see there, the Radcliffe Camera, which is part of the Bodleian libraries, still used by students studying today. So you'll be immersed in some of the key historic sites. You'll get an insight into college life. You'll get to look externally and also go into some of the colleges depending on the tour that you take. And also, I mean, Oxford's got lots of hidden alleyways and roadways, and you'll get to stroll along there. Some of the things that people who are exploring on their own just don't discover. So hopefully gives you a bit of a secretive sort of insight into the city.
And we've always done lots of private tours through the town, so that's always a fun way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got our tours. We've got scheduled tours that we've got daily tours that run 4 times a day. The Oxford University and City tour, so they're 2-hour tours that run. There's 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. The afternoon tours will take in a college visit as well. With the private tours, those can run to whatever time you want, whatever day, however long, whatever theme you want. So if you're looking for a specialist theme tour, be it, focused on the university, we can do that. If you'd like it focused on Lewis and Tolkien and learn about some of our real literary figures in the city, then we can bespoke that tour to you as well. So, they can run wherever. They can be booked through GT Experiences, and we can work to create the itinerary that suits your clients.
Thanks, Leslie. Let's take a look at the video. Thank you. It was an abrupt ending, but thank you. So now we're going to move on to the next. So we're moving to Stratford-upon-Avon, one of my favorite towns in England. So, Vicky, are we on with you?
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to Stratford-upon-Avon. Stratford-upon-Avon offers over 800 years of history and culture. We carry the name of the most, Shakespeare's England carries the name of the most famous resident in the town, obviously William Shakespeare. It is a charming market town, right on the bank, on the river bank, on the Avon River. And but before I get started, I just wanted to mention, You can probably tell by my accent, I'm not from around here. So for all of those Americans that are listening, trust me, all of these presentations that I just heard, it makes me want to go and explore some more. And I'm sure that you will have that same experience that I have felt since I've been here in the UK for the last 7 years. So going back to Stratford and for Shakespeare's England, Warwickshire, the region, we are a very charming market town. We have plenty of attractions and culture, history, heritage. We have here with us Bisley Manor, one of our great hotels in the area. And staying on the hotel track, we offer different type of accommodation for different type of budgets as well. And we have Stratford Manor, Bisley Manor again, the Welcome Hotel. We have the Mallory Court Hotel. Some of these names that you might be familiar with, but if not, I really encourage you to visit. And attractions, obviously we have one of the most famous attractions in our region that hosts the world's most famous playwright, William Shakespeare. And Lisa is here with us today, and she'll talk a little bit more about that. But the birthplace of William Shakespeare, where he was born, where he raised, where he lived with his family, that is definitely a site to visit in the new place. But then again, I'll let Louisa touch more on that. And we can actually step over just a mile away, if that, to the schoolroom, Shakespeare schoolroom, where he went to school, where he learned to the trade of writing in theater, and where he actually spent a lot of time with his father. So recently, the schoolroom, just to mention, just won the Tourism Awards recently. So it is a great place to come visit and explore and learn what and step on his footsteps, where he actually became William Shakespeare. We offer different type of experiences as well. We host Cotswold Distillery, Shakespeare's Distillery. We have walking tours. We have other attractions such as the British Motor Museum, the Butterfly Farm. We have an array of different attractions, hotels, and experiences. And it is a walkable, so you can actually spend a few hours walking throughout the town. And excuse me, and right outside Stratford-upon-Avon, we also cover different market towns, different towns such as Royal Leamington Spa, Rugby, the home of rugby, where rugby was born. You can visit the college as well, the school. We have Kenilworth with the famous Kenilworth Castle, and Warwick with Warwick Castle. I see some hearts coming out, so thank you. Warwick Castle, absolutely a beautiful experience and a beautiful day out with a family as well. And we have, again, not just castles, but we have abbeys and Stoneleigh Abbey just in Kenilworth, outside Kenilworth. And all of these towns are very close from each other. They're about 10-minute, 15-minute drive from Stratford-upon-Avon. And again, walkable. As far as where we are located, we are in the heart of England, as most of us here, and only about an hour and 20 minutes from London. So I know that my fellow Americans and I would love to take the train. So we have West Midlands trains, Avanti trains, and Chiltern as well, that can take you either up to Warwick Parkway, to Stratford-upon-Avon, or via Coventry as well, which is another city that we cover with the different type of attractions and experience and heritage. As far as arts and culture, we also are the home for the Royal Shakespeare Company, the RSC. Beautiful performances, lots of history and culture, as well as Compton Burney outside the town. So for a beautiful day out in Stratford, you can hire the walking tours. You can follow us on our page and follow the different trails that we have set out, or also come and visit the different market towns that I just mentioned. There's a lot of history. There's a lot to discover and explore in this part of Warwickshire, and love for you guys to come and visit us.
Well, we will definitely make that happen. So
Thank
no doubt about it. And I think we're going to now, Louisa, it's your turn to tell us a little bit about Shakespeare himself.
Yeah, thanks, Vicky, for the amazing introduction there. That was doing a bit of my job, so all good. I don't know, should we play the video first and then I could talk about it a bit more? Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that's just a very brief introduction to the 3 Shakespeare family homes that we have open at the moment. So probably the kind of jewel of the crown is the birthplace. So as Vicky kindly introduced, that's where Shakespeare was born. Sorry, 460 years ago. So even older than you thought, Tom. And he lived there as a child, went to school in Stratford, and then was married there and brought his family up in the birthplace as well. So we've got quite a big story about his life and how he kind of became the great playwright that he did, living in this property. We have guides in all the rooms, as you can see on the video. And we also have kind of selected performances in the gardens as well. So you can sit and enjoy some Shakespeare in the home of Shakespeare. So a really good experience. And we can offer guided tours and exclusive access and all that kind of thing to the birthplace as well. Following on from the birthplace, we have Anne Hathaway's cottage, which is just outside of Stratford. It's about a 20-minute walk or 10 minutes in the car. And that was where Shakespeare's wife grew up. And again, a kind of good family home. And her family kept the Anne Hathaway's cottage was kept in her family. So there's original items of family furniture there. And again, concentrating on the story of Anne there. And one of our key themes at the moment is the women in Shakespeare's life. And we're really trying to expand on these kind of external and different influences to Shakespeare in our kind of multi-year theme at the moment. So it's really important. Although we sing and shout about Shakespeare a lot, we also want to talk about the kind of social and living history around him and what really get underneath what he was writing about in his plays and the characters that he was portraying. The third property that's currently open is New Place. And so it's New Place Gardens. The house that Shakespeare had built isn't there anymore, but there's been quite extensive archaeological work and there's an interpretation of what Shakespeare's house was like. And as Vicky said, it's very close to the schoolroom and to pubs and to the Guild Chapel. So the places, the buildings that Shakespeare would have known. So that's a really interesting visit. And as I said, that's also the site of our exhibition. So this year, The Women Who Made Shakespeare is about his family, his mother, his wife, his daughters, and how they would have lived. And we're expanding that next year into the female characters in his plays and the stories that they're telling about life at the time and perception. And then the final year, we're going to concentrate on the people, the women that have acted Shakespeare, have written about Shakespeare, have continued to tell his story and his legacy now. So again, we can do special tours and all of those kinds of things related to the exhibition and these themes. A bit like Oxford, I think we have a city sightseeing bus, so you can visit all of the properties on the sightseeing bus with a kind of guided tour. So that's quite helpful to get around in the town. But as Vicky said, most of it is quite walkable as well. And we say a birthplace, a new place, and probably 2 hours for Anne Hathaway's because it's got the gorgeous gardens, the orchards, a bit more of an offer there. So hopefully that's a very kind of whistle stop overview, but hopefully that kind of gives you some thought. And for a special American collection, we also care for Harvard House, which is the family home of John Harvard. So the house that his mother grew up in, and so there's also kind of connections there. So that's quite a nice story that we can tell and do tours of as well.
It's so great to actually bring it to life, right? To learn about what his life was like. So it's just a great approach.
Yeah, And that's what we're trying to, that's our kind of, you know, the theatre put on amazing performances, and that's what they do really well. What we try and do is kind of say what inspired him, try and get underneath what the plays are about, and the stories of him and the people that were living around him at the time.
Thanks, Louisa. Lots of intrigue too. So I think we're going to move to some of that now. So I think that our next the next thing we're going to do is we're going to introduce you to Laura. Laura's the director of sales and marketing of a wonderful, wonderful property in the town, just right outside of the town. So Laura, welcome.
Hello, everybody. I'm absolutely delighted to be here today speaking about Billesley Manor. I am a very proud Stratfordian, born and bred. So Billesley does hold a very special place in my heart. In fact, my father thinks he is Shakespeare. The amount he put me vigorously through drama school. Billesley Manor is a 16th century manor house. We are just 2 miles outside of Stratford-upon-Avon town centre. So although we're very close, you still do have that Broadway feel that you're in 11 acres of Warwickshire countryside. We have a very rich history. And I always say that we're perfectly quintessentially British. From the outside, we look like something from Harry Potter, people always tell me. We were first named in the Domesday Book back in 1086, but I suppose our main point of history came alive in 1582, where it's believed Shakespeare actually married Anne Hathaway in the 11th century church that sits within the grounds of Billesley Manor called All Saints Church. And interestingly enough, you can still have a blessing in that church if you're getting married at Billesley Manor, so that's very sweet. A few years later, he penned his famous comedy in 1599 in the name of As You Like It. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out then. In this very famous library, which you see now with the books on top. I doubt that was the original desk, but he definitely sat there and wrote As You Like It. Interestingly enough for you guys, we have 71 bedrooms, which span over 7 categories of rooms, from suites right down to classics, all very, very individual. We have 3 sets of interconnecting rooms, 10 family rooms, which is unusual for a property of our size, so we can definitely accommodate families. And interestingly enough, we have 41 of our 71 bedrooms can be made into twin bedrooms as well. So we can get lots of people staying with you. We're about 40 minutes from the Cotswolds as well, so a really good base to explore, not just Stratford, but Bourton-on-the-Water, Broadway, all those lovely villages surrounding our lovely town. One of my favourite pieces from our hotel, and actually it's on one of our photos, if we can scoot along onto one of our other photos.
Go ahead, Francesca.
This photo. So if you see above the fireplace, we have an original priest hole. Priest holes were made in the 16th century following the ascension of Queen Elizabeth I, because to be a Catholic priest in those times was persecuted by law. So priests used to hide in that little box that you can see just below the chandelier in that room. So I love these pieces of history that come alive in all of our different bedrooms. We also have a 125-year-old topiary garden, which is the perfect backdrop for lots of events that we do during the year. We do outdoor theatre. We've got our famous Gin and Rum Festival, which is in July of every year. Vicky's nodding because she loves that. So I really do believe that Billesley Manor is the perfect destination for those wanting to explore Stratford, but maybe also a bit further afield as well.
I also think we have a video actually that I think would be great to see. Francesca, if you could launch that would be great.
See, that
Laura,
makes me want to have a massage and then eat and then get into a four-poster bed.
so Laura, you're it's too tempting. I definitely want to stay there.
I know, and you know,
I have just a quick question before we move on to the next piece, because we're towards the end of our webinar, and that is, how easy is it to get in and out of town from the property?
we're 2 to 3 miles in a straight line into Stratford. Actually, if you were feeling able-bodied and wanted to do a little bit of a walk, it would take you onto one of our more rural roads, which you can actually pick up the hop-on, hop-off bus.
Good. So easy enough. Taxis, you can call a cab. So
Absolutely, yeah.
not a problem. It's a beautiful property, and you have to be so proud of it.
Watching that video makes me proud all over again. I'm so very lucky.
You are. And now we're going to go to our final part. So we have some prizes that we're going to hand out today. One is going to be a stay at the Manor. I so wish that it were me, but no, it's going to be one of you, which is exciting. And a punting experience, as well as an Oxford walking tour. So it's a nice little package that you can take advantage of. And as always, our $300 additional commission from GT Experiences when you book a tour into the area. So, Johnny,
I'm here. I'm here to distribute the prizes, and today the $300 extra commission from GT Experience go to Lisa Maddox. Lisa,
hey Lisa,
and the stay at the Manor, as Tom explained, goes to Dan Maroney. So congratulations to
Dan. Congratulations
to both of you, and we see you on the next one.
So just so you know, we've got a couple of webinars coming up also. So we'll send out some details so that you'll all get to see them. This webinar will be posted within the next 48 hours on our website. You can use any of the content to help you put together a product. And again, I want to thank everybody in England that helped us put this together. Flo, as always. Key.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome. And we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. So have a great day, everybody.